Come on in, everyone. Come on in. Take a moment, go get your water, take a breath, and let's settle in. Let me see if you guys can hear this. Can you hear this? Let's see. I'm messing around with some new stuff. All right. Welcome. Hey, everybody. I got to remember to unmute myself. Welcome to another episode of It's Monday. I hope that you guys enjoyed the music. Can you hear me now, Miss K? Y'all can hear me now? All right, good. What I was saying was I'm playing around with a couple of different things on StreamYard, just having some fun and seeing, if I could just add a few things to the show to make it flow a little bit more smoothly and to, I don't know, help me out a bit. So hopefully you guys got your water and you taking your breath and you're settled in and ready to get going. Yes, loud and clear. Thank you so much. And good job, Mr. Bibbs, on the water. How are you all doing with your water? I fell a little short for a little while, but I'm back on it. I am on bottle number. This is my second bottle for the day. I actually need to finish this and another bottle to have the amount that I need to drink. So forgive me because I'm going to be sipping on this tonight. Sorry about that. I just actually finished this. This is not to promote this because I've only used it once, but I mentioned this about 3 weeks ago that my neighbor told me about this gentle kind of a detox. And I didn't have the box when I was talking to y'all before, but this is what it's called. Core Cleanse. So the way it works is you take, I think we only have 2 left because I split this box with my husband. There's a bunch of these little guys in here. One is for Core Cleanse, one is Core Cleanse Plus, and you take the Core Cleanses for 5 days. You take it before your biggest meal, and then on the last 2 days you take these. These are Core Cleanse Plus, and these have senna in it. So these are the ones you take. You take one at night before you go to bed, and you take the next one the as soon as you wake up. So I had to wait to do this when I had enough time between traveling, because I was not about to be on nobody's airplane or anywhere other than my house to see how these things worked out. It was cool. Nice soft little cleanse. I think I might get another pack. So what you guys got going on over here? Yes, loud and clear. Did you add liquid IV? No, I did not add liquid IV. Miss K, I actually I got liquid IV for my son last summer when he was doing basketball camp. Excuse me, I got him liquid IV, but I never tried it. I mean, I tasted it, but I never really used it. Do you use it with your water? Hey, Tyrone. I have a liter of Essentia right now. Okay, that's what's up. How much water have you gotten in so far today? DJ Ace Productions. Good evening. Good evening. What's up, Gerard? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? If you guys wouldn't mind, just hit the like button. A little something, something as you come on in. I drink liquid IV sometimes. I love it. The lemon one. They have a whole bunch of flavors. When I saw that they had the bomb pop flavor, I was like, okay. But yeah, I haven't added that. I went to Sprouts the other day, and one of the free giveaways was this greens packet. It was mango flavor, and I didn't try it yet. I don't know why I mentioned that, because it's not like liquid IV, but just mentioning it. All right, well, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into it, because number one, my husband's not feeling so good, and I'm gonna go grab him some soup before alpaca closes. So I got to make sure I'm off in a good enough time. And then two, just something that I wanted to bring to you all's attention. I think I'm gonna just officially have this start at 7 p.m. Because between this week and last week, scooting from 6:30 to 7, I think I'm gonna just move it to 7. So let's do that. 7 p.m. It's Monday, every Monday, Eastern time. Let's get it. So today's topic is, oh wait, I gotta move those comments off the screen for a second. Fighting for a life worth living. Fighting for a life worth living. I'm gonna be like Dr. Umar Johnson, fighting for a life worth living. Side note, did you guys see that he has his school complete? His school is completed. Maybe I should take this off for 1 second. His school has been completed. I saw his video the other day. I think now they're just waiting to get a certificate of occupancy. King size, don't laugh. And as soon as I saw the video, I sent it to Slimmy and Anton, and I was like, please tell me when you guys cover this video, because it is hilarious. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Slimmy and Anton are from After Hours on another channel, but one of the people that we have, commented on in the past has been Dr. Umar Johnson. The video is hilarious. He has a room that he calls a timeout room for women. Go check it out. It's funny. Anyway, let's get on back to my topic, which, like I said, is fighting for a life worth living. Fighting for it did take decades. Fighting for a life worth living. So per usual, man, the students that was waiting to wait. Wait a minute. It's funny because it's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true. Do you know how many people have probably invested in that school when their children were a certain age? Like, oh gosh, I would love for my child to go to this school. And now their children are like teenagers now. Yes, a timeout room, Miss K. Now, I don't, Dr. Umar is low key a comedian. So I don't know if it's a real timeout room for the kids. I don't know if it's a real timeout room for women, Or I don't know if it's just a whole nother room and he was just playing all together. But he was he was like, the ladies, this is where you'll go when you need to get spanked by, he calls himself King Kong something, something, something. So y'all gotta check out the video. It is hilarious. All right, let me get back. Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go. Look at this. DJ Ace Productions with the super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I'm trying to find my sound effects. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let me get back over here. King Kong consciousness. Yeah. He should do comedy. I said he should do comedy. I mean, not that he heard from me, but All right, so story time. So, all right, fighting for a life worth living. So, I think I told you guys a couple of weeks ago about when I was outside playing basketball. Well, trying to play basketball, and I was like winded real quick. I think I had kind of like twisted my ankle a little bit or whatever. And I started to talk about what that meant for me, but I didn't go too deep. So, you all may not know, but we have two dogs. And one of our dogs, Teddy he's special. Okay? I think that we were fosters to these two dogs when they were like, I'm going all off. Y'all know I tell my stories like all around the mulberry bush. But the dogs were like 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks when we got them. And it was clear that they came from, I don't know, some kind of, they had trauma. They had trauma, but and they're brothers. But Teddy, like, he really seems impacted by his trauma. So I say all of this to say that when it comes to Teddy, you have to have patience. My patience are, being worked on, but you have to have patience nonetheless. So I let Teddy out to go I let both of them out to go to the backyard to go to the bathroom, whatever. Long story short, I opened up the door, and usually they both just come back in, and they actually go in and like go straight to their crate. Milo is the other dog. He always listens. Teddy every now and again like comes by the door but then goes away, and then comes by the door and then goes away. And sometimes I just be like, I'm like, look, if you're not going to come in, you're stuck. Like, you're just going to be out there until someone else feels like letting you in. But on this particular day, I think either it was like really hot or it was going to rain. I don't remember what the circumstances were, but in my mind, and I wanted him to listen, that too. Okay. So I'm like, Teddy, come on in. Doesn't come in. So I'm like debating if I'm going to go out there, because I know what I'm going to have to do if I go out there. And we have a sizable backyard, right? So I love slipper socks. Like, I can't lift my foot up, but like I wear like slipper socks that are like this all the time. So I had these on, and you know how when you about to run outside, you kind of, well, I do. I'll grab the nearest shoes. So in this case, the nearest shoes were these like, I had these like open toe moon sandal house shoe things, whatever. But because my foot had all of this slipper sock on it, it's already thick going into the shoe. So it's my shoe, but it doesn't like fit well. You know what I'm saying? So I put my foot in. All right, cool. Cause in my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come out here, get this dog, and then he's gonna go inside. So I go out into the yard and I try to walk after him. Now, the normal thing is we have a trampoline. So he'll normally like circle around the trampoline, cut underneath. And if I keep the patio door open, he runs up on the deck into the house. I forgot. I have forgot to keep the patio door open. So the first time I walked around, Actually he ran by the door. He ran by the patio, but he didn't go on the deck. So then I had to kind of speed it up. So now I'm like speed walking, if you will. In my mind, I probably was running, but it looked like I'm speed walking. And so then he runs around, runs up onto the deck towards the door, but the door is closed. So now he comes down off the deck and runs back into the yard, right? So now, y'all, I would show y'all because I have it on camera. I showed my husband, he was dying laughing. I would show y'all, but I'm too embarrassed to show y'all this. Anyway, so now I'm now trying to I don't even know if I'm trying to catch him because I know I'm not as fast as him, but I'm just trying to get him up there. So now I'm like going around this way, and he's as soon as I go around this way, he runs that way. And then when I go this way, he's like zigging and zagging, and I'm trying to do that too. But I'm in my mind, I'm doing it fast. In my mind, I'm like, On video, I'm like, it's horrible. Oh my God. So now I'm like running across the yard. Like I chased this dog. The footage is it's like 7 clips over a span of 10 minutes, y'all. I'm like chasing this dog all over the yard. And finally, he runs into the house. Now, when I get into the house, I am out of breath. Totally out of breath. My foot is starting to hurt because it was like kind of stuffed into the shoe. And all I can equate this to was when I used to play basketball a long time ago. After we would have to like scrimmage one another and do a bunch of suicides and all of that stuff. And like it's not that you can't breathe per se, but you kind of feel like you can't breathe because that's when the coach is like, walk around, put your hands up, and like your body kind of feels like a achy breathe. That's where I was. That's where I was. But in my head, I knew I didn't run suicides. In my head, I knew that I really had not, the output really did not match what my body was feeling. And as I was sitting down, like I could feel achiness setting in. My ankle, my foot now to this day, it got worse the day after. My foot, something happened with my foot. I don't know. Like my hand, I felt it real bad, right? So I'm just sitting there and I told my son, I was like, this is bad because I can't run. Like I can't run fast. What if this is so sad. I was like, what if somebody was chasing y'all? Or, like, what if I needed to run to get to you? And he's so sweet. He's like, adrenaline. Adrenaline would kick in and you'd be able to just go ahead and do it. And I was like, I hope so, but I don't feel like it. I said, I would probably have to negotiate. I told my husband this too. I'd probably have to negotiate. If somebody was chasing me, I'd have to be like, can we do something different? Can I beat you in rock, paper, scissors? Because I already know that you're going to catch me because I can't run. Like, I couldn't do it. And at first it was like, ha ha, he. Um, you lift a car if your kids was under it. Marcus, I want to believe that in my heart of hearts. I 100% want to believe that in my heart of hearts that I would. Um, I also don't want to be naive to what my body has showed me that day. So as I'm sitting and I'm reflecting, I'm kind of going from, like that was a funny type of a sad, embarrassing moment to, oh shoot, like what you gonna do about that? Especially considering the fact that, growing up, I'm not saying I was some track star, ran track. I was a track star, whatever, but for a good bulk of my life, I was what I would consider like in good shape, but beyond shape, like athletic, like, oh, you want to race? Bet, let's race. Like that was kind of me. So this was like, girl, you can't run. So when I thought about that, I was like, Okay, so this whole notion of me working out, figuring out eating properly, falling off, getting back on, sticking with it, losing weight, all of this stuff. This is way bigger. This is way, way bigger than what I even thought. I thought it was just, I want to feel better. I want to be healthy. And it is, but this is a big deal. So in my head, I was like, yo, I'm fighting to live. At first in my head, I said, I'm fighting to live. And I'm like, but I'm not dying. Although every day we're alive, we're dying, getting closer to dying. But I'm not dying. But it was, no, I'm fighting for a life worth living. Okay. Okay. I'm fighting for a life worth living. I'm fighting to be able to do what I need to be able to do, be who I need to be able to be to my kids, to myself, my husband, my family, everybody, what have you. And then I was talking to my kids today. Every now and again I'll have a little powwow with my kids. They act like it gets on their nerves, but I think that they like it and they'll come to appreciate it as they get older. It's my way of keeping lines of communication open, checking in, just like making conversation very common. And so I went in there, I called them all into one of their rooms today, and I was just letting them know, like, this is what I'm focusing on now. Fighting for a life worth living. I had just finished doing my Bible study, so I was talking to them about a scripture that I'll actually tell you guys a little bit later. And I said, when LJ and Jordan, so my two oldest are 11 and 13. The 11-year-old will be turning 12 in September. And then my two youngest are 7 and 5. The 5-year-old will be turning 6 in August. So I said, when LJ and Jordan, the two oldest, when you guys were Jay and Journey's age, at this age, I was doing like I throw them in the car and we just go do whatever. Especially since my husband was traveling, so whether we kind of like followed along where he was, I was always at museums, always at parks, always like we were always doing everything, aquariums, all this stuff. And then when we were home, it was like nonstop experiments and just discoveries and walks and this and that. And I still do that with my kids in general, especially since at that time I didn't have to declare being a homeschooler. It was just what I was doing with my kids. Now homeschooling, like I'm more intentional, but then I was just doing all these things because it's like, let's do it, let's do it. And I said, I realized that my overall, like, just effort, energy, whatever you want to call it, it's changed since my kids got older. And I'm older, yeah, but in my head I'm like, but that's really, that's not good enough for my two younger ones to not get what my two older ones got at the same age. So that was another reason why in my head I'm like fighting for a life worth living. So that then reminded me of, I don't know if I keep saying I don't know if you all know this, so I'm just going to assume that you guys don't because I don't talk about this. But at one point in time, right before COVID, I think I enrolled in, it's called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And the whole purpose, so technically I'm a certified health coach coming out of that, but I didn't do it to become a health coach. I actually did it to learn and to just kind of be a better, I guess, not I guess, to be a better leader over health in my household, to be a better example, to be more knowledgeable, whatever. So one of the professors, the instructors that I had, he started to talk to us about this concept. And I'm curious of if any of you have heard of this as well. Hold on. You live your grandkids. All right, here we go. Let's see. Has anybody heard of lifespan? Let me put this up on the stage for now. Has anybody heard of lifespan versus health span? Anybody? Well, I'm going to tell y'all what lifespan versus health span is, because what this made me think of was this concept right here. So many of us say, I want to live a long life, and I don't want to die till I'm 100 years old and all of that stuff. So lifespan is the total number of years a person lives, like how long you actually live. But your health span is the number of years a person lives in good health, able to function, to move, to think clearly, to live with a quality of life. Oh, let me move those off. Sorry, guys. So you could live a long life, but your health span could stop 3/4 of the way. And now you're reduced. Your functioning has been reduced. You might be dealing with chronic illnesses, lower quality of years to go. So one of the things that the instructor had mentioned, he said, there's not people are not paying enough attention to their health span. In fact, at that time, he gave me some statistics, but I'm not even going to quote those because I have newer statistics. According to JAMA, the 2024 JAMA Network Open Study looked at 183 WHO member states and reported that the global gap between lifespan and health span is about 9.6 years. In plain language, many people are alive but spent almost a decade dealing with disease or reduced health function. So you could be here, but the last 9.5 years of your life, you might not be able to walk, or walk without, a walker. You might need somebody to help you with your daily functioning, your daily living skills. You might be battling some kind of heart disease or some kind of kidney disease or what have you. The same study reported that the United States has a larger gap of about 12.4 years. And apparently that had increased from previous years. I really want to dig deeper into this, but I just wanted to at least grab a couple of statistics so that you guys could kind of understand where we are in general. The study also found that women had a wider average health span to lifespan gap than men by about 2.4 years globally. So I don't know. Let me see what, yep. Fact, proof, evidence, truth is real, God, our creator, Adam, Torah, Bible in order, study, rap the news, YouTube, only God can save us. You're not. Okay. Thank you. Makes sense. Health span is kind of new, but you're a vegetable for a fourth of it. Lifespan has always been a thing. Yeah, globally, war could be a factor in that. Yeah, I just grabbed some statistics quickly. Obviously there are different variables as to why things are the way they are. So this is not a conversation about why the numbers may be that way, but that the numbers, one, in general are that way. But more importantly, I really want you guys, if you haven't considered it, to just be thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because when he told it to me, I was like, oh, I never really stopped to think about that. It's I just say I want to live a long life, but I want to live a long, functioning and able life. I don't want to just be here existing, struggling to actually live the life that I'm living. And you look around, and there's a lot of people who that's the case. And I would be curious. I'm not going to make this assumption, but I would be curious to know if the age of the people who are starting to see these types of chronic illnesses and these disabilities and all of these things that make their health span shorter, if the ages are going down. I'm just curious. So, that said, there's also something called, it is stated that here in the United States, our food, it is stated that here in the United States, our food is more fattening than some other countries. Yeah, there's, yeah, it's just, that was a whole nother other thing. And it's gotten better and worse in certain areas since I first learned about all this. I learned about how things are different in other countries versus here when I was taking those courses. And one of the things that was not the most shocking to me, but probably the most like, really, was the items that we have here, some of the foods that we have here, some of the brands that we have here, even down to places like McDonald's, dare I say, where they serve the same thing, but the ingredients are different. The products are is like Fruit Loops, same thing, but over here there's all this stuff in it. Over there, it might not be because of the regulations of those countries. So in my mind, I never really understood that, because it's like, I don't know, just to me it makes us look dumb as a country, greedy as a country. It makes us look, it kind of makes your what we care about obvious, or lack thereof obvious, which is why um even the fight for like getting the dyes out of certain foods. I can't think of the name of this woman right off the top of my head. She kind of came out and got stronger when RFK Jr. was running. I can't think of her name right now, but fighting to get the dyes removed from cereals and things of that nature. And I know some people are like, that's nothing, that's not a big deal. But to me, in the grand scheme of things, it kind of is, because we have countries who have these things banned, and we have these things just all up in our foods. But um that said, that's even more the reason why being able to have your own I guess, like, your own blueprint for how you intend to increase your health span, it's even more important for us. Because if you rely on what's provided to you, you already know that you're going to get a lot more chemicals, a lot more processed stuff. So I can go on with that topic. That makes me upset, but whatever. It's all for capitalism. It is. But see, I don't want to go off on this tangent, but it's like, but why? Like, I agree with you, Marcus. I agree that it's all for capitalism, and I guess I don't know if it makes the bottom line cheaper for them, like it's cheaper to produce these products, or if it's the addictive factor. I'm putting this stuff in here so people buy more, or if it's both. I've heard both. Um, but you could still make money and sell it properly. That's the part that's like you're just being straight up greedy. Like, you could still sell clean products to people and they'll buy it. So it's not, you know what I'm saying? I don't get that. I don't want to sound naive, but I don't get that. I'm listening to this while eating 3 oatmeal and radon. Oh, raisin cookies. Man, even oatmeal, like this whole thing with the and pesticides and all of, I could go on. We'll have to do a whole nother show on that, y'all, because anyway. So long story short, I wanted to see if you guys, I wanted to see if you all knew about, I can sell you a $5 one-time permanent cure, or I can sell you a $10 prescription every month for the rest of your life. That's a fact. I learned about prevention versus treatment when I was in health class in like the 9th grade, and my teacher then, hey Kiki, eating your Skittles, girl. Are you at least eating the ones with no color? Look, soak the color off. Um, I learned early on that my teacher told us that we are a treatment based country. We are not preventative. We are on the treatment side of things because, to your point, that's where the money is. That's where the money is. Um so anyway, let me get on back over here. It's kind of sad. It's kind of a sad fact. Wait, let me put this up here. I can put these up here now so I can see. It's kind of a sad fact that most times people don't care about other people, kind of like, period. I know. And it's like we sound, somebody would hear us saying this and be like, y'all sound so simple, like, duh, people, everybody don't care about people, and I know, but it's sad that you don't, you know what I'm saying? And again, you can still make money. You could still make money. I lost where I'm going with this now, because now I'm wanting to go off on this whole tangent. Okay, so let me bring us on back. All right, so I told you all that, let me see if I can get myself up here. Okay, here we go. So I told you all that fighting for a life worth living is like what became, I get, like, not a tagline, but like that's what came to me. So Teddy, my dog Teddy, showed up. Showed me the gap between the life I want and the capacity I have right now. I want my younger kids to get the same energy I gave my older kids. Obviously, this is bigger than weight loss, although weight loss is a big thing for me. No, I'm not telling y'all how much weight I need to lose. I'll tell you, as I'm losing it, I'll tell y'all a little more about that. It's about stamina, strength, presence, and stewardship. So, with that said, that's the story behind my goal. So, y'all know I like to get us all involved here. So, my question to you is, why am I sounding so country today? What are you fighting for? What are you really fighting for? What kind of life are your goals connected to? Cuz for you it might not have anything to do with health, you know? For you, you might already have that locked in and you're good to go. Um so what kind of life are your goals connected to? Because every one of us has different goals, but they're all connected to something. They're all connected to something, whether it's your whether it's budgeting, whether it's increasing your prayer life, whether it's focusing on your marriage, whether it's doing something with your career, whether it's losing weight, whether it's, I don't know, but it's all connected to something having to do with your life. So, what kind of life are your goals connected to? Yes, I like the video. Thank you. I appreciate it, Marcus. Where do you want more energy, capacity, or freedom? Where do you want more energy, capacity, and freedom? And the reason that I asked you all these questions is because I found, for me, sometimes you just need to pause and reflect. Sometimes you need to ask yourself the obvious questions. Because we have a tendency to be running and we don't always check in. We don't always check in with what we're doing and why. And if it's really matching up to what we want to be doing with what kind of life we want to have and all of those things. So, what does a life worth living look like for you? Have you ever asked yourself that? What does a life worth living look like for you? If anybody wants to share anything in the chat, please feel free. If not, ponder on it. Give it some thought. What are you building toward beyond the number on the scale? Now, this is more specific to those who are on this weight loss journey, but what are you building toward beyond your immediate goals? What are you building towards? Just something for you to consider. Okay. Let's see. We have to start healthy eating as early. Sorry, we have to start healthy eating as early as possible because according to a couple of doctors I heard say our current health has a lot to do with how we ate as a child. Yes, childhood eating habits are hard to break. That's true. And then here's the other thing. A long time ago, my grandmother, she told me, God rest her soul, but she told me that she used to be like, the ingredients aren't made the same. I remember she said that about cinnamon. She was like, these things don't even taste the same. And I believe it. And so some of the stuff that we ate, one, we probably shouldn't have been eating it, but some of the things that we were probably eating that was good for us was way better quality. The soil was better back in I mean, I don't know how old everybody is, but if you're of a certain age, then your childhood, some of us probably got the last childhood that wasn't loaded with a bunch of chemicals. Um so some of the good things we were eating are now depleted. Like that was something else that I learned about in IIN was even if you're focusing on eating organic, which is what I focus on a lot, eating organic, locally sourced and all of that stuff, our soil, the soil itself has been depleted of minerals, of the things that it needs. And these are just things that were not an issue at one point in time. So I totally agree with you. And some of these are hard habits to break. Like I grew up eating certain meals. So naturally, I was cooking those meals for my family. The one thing I'm glad that I didn't stick to was fried chicken. I didn't like fried chicken. I can only eat the drumettes, and that's like few and far in between. So I never was a fried chicken mama and wife, but there were other things. Like my mom used to make us one pot wonders. One of our one pot wonders was hot dogs, beans, and corn, and you have to say it in that order. And granted, we use Nathan's hot dogs and it's all beef, but still it's a hot dog. It has nitrates in it, and we've seen how hot dogs are produced and all of that stuff. So um corn is like corn isn't good for everybody. Um, but those used to be some of the things, those were like my go-to meals. And I had to really start to dig deep to stop utilizing some of the things that I grew up on. I grew up on Kool-Aid, up on Kool-Aid. Like we had, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, like the canisters that you had on your counter, the biggest one was sugar, then it was flour for us. The biggest one was sugar, then it was flour, then like the other one might have rice, and then the other one actually held our Kool-Aid packets. And I used to mix cherry and lemon. My mom used to mix cherry and lemon, grape and lemon, tropical punch, like all these surfing, whatever it was, like all these different things. And so growing up with white sugar was nothing. I can't tell y'all the last time that we've had white sugar in my house, but that was something that I had to really dig deep to break. Um, and that was a staple. Juice was a staple. Soda became a staple. All of those things. I had to break out of all of those things. There's still more that I know I need to, but yeah, you're right. We grew up with things that we shouldn't have. and we make it very excusable to still consume those things. And I'm not judging because, I'm a part of it. So, peaches now don't taste the same. That's a fact. That's a fact. Peaches definitely don't taste the same now. Peaches used to always be so juicy and just you're right. You're right. And of course, everything is not about just the food we eat because some people have health problems for other reasons, but as we get older, we should focus on nutrition. Yes. You know what's interesting about this, Cheryl? I wonder how many people really know about the like their health history. So between doing this IIN program, like we had to do sample health histories where you like interview someone and you ask them, like you really dig into their health history, which obviously involves their parents, their great grandparents, their grandparents, the like. And I remember even the times that I've been pregnant, all the times that I've gone to the doctor and I've had to answer questions regarding anybody beyond my parents. Um, like it started to get a little bit cloudy because they ask you what illnesses, what diseases, on which side, when did they have it? And a lot of this stuff people should know, but a lot of people don't know. But it's worth knowing what runs in your family. Um, so just, these are just things that I guess when you're younger, you really don't care about. And as you get older, you realize this is a little bit important, but I wish that I would have known it was important earlier on so I could have been on top of it in a different way. No excuse, just wishing that it was a little different. Ginger and Juice, she says they don't farm like they used to. Small farmers do, but industrial farming rarely allows for the ground to rest like in the Bible. Interesting point. Very, very true. And I see, since I'm down here in the North Carolina area, I have come to appreciate the whole agriculture world so much more. And even learning the difference between free range and grass fed and um what's the other one? Cage free, and then learning what it takes for a company to be able to say that they are organic. Because I remember there were times that I would go to like farmers markets, and some of the farmers markets wouldn't have organic fruits. And I was like, ugh, because I want to support you because you're local, but why you don't have organic? And one of the farmers told me that in order for you to say that you have organic produce, and I don't know if it's different between vegetables and fruit, but we were talking about fruit at the time. You had to have your soil had to be without pesticides, I think for like 5 years, like 3 or 5 years. Don't quote me on this, but you have to have a certain period of time where there was no pesticides. And he said the problem for them is that when they grow their berries, they don't spray pesticides on them. But when they are making, like, they might use the same soil or the same plot for some other um some other vegetable later on in the year where they might use a pesticide. So it's still it's still in the soil, kind of sort of, but not on the plant. But again, it is in the soil, but not really sprayed on the fruit itself. So it becomes, and again, these are small farmers. So I guess it's one thing if you have the space to do all of this stuff. It's another thing if you have to you only have but so much space. So I was like, I'm so like, thank you for explaining to me, but I'm gonna go get some organic. But that was one of the other things that I learned in IIN was like sometimes getting local but not organic might actually be better than organic from somewhere else, because there's also benefits to like certain soils, certain locations. Like, I don't know, I don't want to get all deep like I'm an expert on this. I just know that it's a deep conversation. Let's just say that there's a lot. There's a lot. When we get older, our bodies don't need and cannot process lots of sugar anymore. That's a fact, because I used to love candy and I can't eat candy like I used to. The minute that I eat candy, my knuckles start aching. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Ginger and Juice. Question: if not white sugar, what do you use? So the sweeteners that I have in my house, the sweeteners that I have in my house are, I have coconut sugar, because at first I was using coconut sugar in my oatmeal. I still have coconut sugar because sometimes, like with baking or whatever, when it calls for sugar, we'll use coconut sugar, because my daughter, she loves to bake. So there's that. But then I saw a video from Yaki Awakening. I think that's his name. And he was talking. Now, I did not go and research this, but I have heard this before. He was talking about honey and maple syrup, which I use both of those anyway. But he was saying, he was talking about honey and maple syrup, and all of the different properties that both possess. And so long story short, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should try maple syrup as a sweetener. So now when I make oatmeal, I'll put maple syrup in there. Um, Honey, I have honey all the time because of tea, and I think that's it. At one point, I was playing around with erythrit erythritol. How do you it's er eryth the erythritol. I can't think of how you spell it. I think it's like this. Hold on, let me see. How do you pronounce erythritol? Yeah, it's erythritol. Oh, he's on my headphones. Hold on. Hold on. Rith re tall. Oh, I was pronouncing it right. Okay. Well, that's what I was using for a little while, because the glycemic index was supposedly like lower or something like that. But then I started seeing something about it was being connected or linked to, I don't know if it was cancer or something else. And so I was like, all right, well, I won't add that. Agave, I've heard of agave. I've tried agave a couple of times. I've heard things about agave too, but it's like it depends on which day you look, cuz I've heard good things about agave, I've heard bad things about agave. So I'm impartial to agave. It's just, for me, I guess if I have agave, I'm like, then I could just use maple syrup. And to be quite honest with you all, I don't eat that many things that I add sweetener to. The only things I could think of right now, I could think of tea, herbal tea. I add honey, um, oatmeal. Obviously, if I'm eating pancakes, we make the Kodiak protein pancakes. I get pure maple syrup. And then the other thing I might add honey to is plain Greek yogurt. So I don't sweeten much. So it's kind of like these are the staples to have. I'm cool with that. Thank you. I have not heard of coconut sugar before. We'll look for it and give it a try. I do use honey and maple syrup and coffee at times. Honey is better. Yeah, he did compare the two. He gave the advantages and disadvantages, and one of them, probably maple syrup, I think is a higher a higher glycemic index. But then he also pointed out something about how our body, even though it's higher, our body handles it differently or whatever. It was a good video. It was a long video, so I'm not even going to try to reiterate what he said. I do need to go and research it to see if it was accurate, but I kind of was okay with him saying it. I was like, all right, I'll trust you. And I'll just keep it moving. Hey, Junior Largy, what's going on? What's going on? All right, so we've moved beyond that. So let me get us back real quick. So we talked about what, for those of you who are just joining us, we were, try coconut sugar is, especially if you bake, it's a good, it's cool to have around. I think it's not that bad. But okay, so let's talk real quick, chat. What are some of the things that you guys are sweetening? Date sugar. I have tried date sugar, and I've bought Dates Herbal Harmony, but I haven't used them yet. My kids will eat them plain. So my son likes this bar. It's called Alar Bar. And now they have it with like chocolate and stuff in it too, but I don't get him those. They have an apple lar bar, a blueberry lar bar, a lemon lar bar, cherry lar bar, and it's 4 ingredients. So for instance, the blueberry lar bar has dates, cashews, blueberries, and like vanilla extract. So when I saw the ingredients, I was like, I need to learn how to do something with these dates. And so I tried, but I not didn't try. I bought the dates, but I never did anything with them. But yeah, I know firsthand that dates are definitely a suitable natural sweetener. So, but I'm curious to know, like, what are some of the things that you guys are sweetening these days? What are we eating and drinking that you're using sweeteners for? Anybody care to share? I add sweeteners to my cereal. Okay. What kind of cereals are you eating, Kiki? What kind of sweetener? I only use honey. All other sweetening comes from raisins and cranberries and other fruits. No sugar at all. I got you. That makes sense. That makes sense. Any kind of sweetener. I'm curious of what foods people are sweetening. So, oops. While you guys tell me that, I love grape nut cornflakes. Oh, you old school, Kiki. Grape nut cornflakes. I ain't mad at you. Yogurt fruit with my smoothies. So real love, you sweeten. Are you okay? So you use the fruit and the yogurt to sweeten your smoothies, or are you adding sweetener to your smoothies? I used to add sugar to my smoothies growing up, like a long time ago, and now I couldn't. My sweetener for my smoothies are bananas. If I don't have a banana, then I'll use honey. I typically don't sweeten tea even when it's herbal. Junior Largy, I used to be there. I used to be right there with you, and somewhere I got back on the sweetening train with honey. Cause what I did was I faded it out. Like I used to just squeeze the honey in, and then I was like, let me start measuring this. That was the other thing. Was like start measuring this stuff. So I used to do 2 tablespoons of honey, then I went down to 1 tablespoon of honey. And then when I was doing this training with no sugar, I was like, I could just drink the tea plain, because depending on what kind you get, you could really appreciate the actual, flavor of the tea. But I think I'm back to, maybe I might be at 2 tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon and a half of honey in my tea now. No, just plain yogurt, berries, and almond milk. Okay. Okay, I like that. Frozen fruit. I thought that you were saying you added it to. Okay, good, 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 good. Good, real love. You're just using the fruit. That's what's up. Like when all else fails, we will have a smoothie here in a hot second. In a hot second. So listen, I want to bring it back to you guys because for me, I'm a vegan baker. So I experiment with a lot of different things. I just love to bake using super clean ingredients. Ooh, Herbal Harmony. A do you make videos or do you have a site or anything like that? Because a lot of times I will challenge my daughter, not necessarily with vegan baking, but I'll challenge her with figuring out like a healthy version of something as best she can. So if you do videos or you have something where you have recipes or anything like that, that would be cool. I would send her your way. White sugar and prayer in Jesus' name. No. No. I will be doing a series on how to start a urban farm. Really? Really? Well, let us know when you're going to start it. Do you already have an urban farm, or you're going to like document your process on doing it yourself? Yeah, I learned a lot about those when I was in IIN as well, especially up north because people don't have the space. So it's like they have to learn how to farm up. They can't farm out. Can show you how to bring back the dirt to quality grade. I like that. I there was a whole course on that. Yeah, you should definitely do that. Show you how to grow certain vegetables where you can make a good income. I'm doing it right now. Friends of mine has been doing it for a few years. I will document the whole series on YouTube. When you going to do it? Did you already start documenting it? I'm holding you accountable. When you going to do it, Mr. Bibbs? You gotta make sure you come in here and give us the link to it so we can support you and we can tune in. Learn a couple of things. We had a garden in our backyard for a couple of years. It was at its best when during COVID when my husband and I could like tend to it together. But once he got back out on the road, it was hard for me because I had I was on baby number 4, and gardening and heat and pregnant, like that was not the best combination. But we grew watermelons, we grew zucchini, peppers, we tried put we tried onions, that didn't work. We grew a bunch of herbs, and I don't remember what else. Late to class, Jay Reezy, bring you to the front of the congregation. Late, 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 late. It's all good. We're just joking. Glad to have you here. Mr. Bibbs, you got to get that channel going. Get that channel going. So let me tell y'all something. Herbal Harmony, OMG, is so fun experimenting in the kitchen, making all the grandma's old school recipes better. I don't, unfortunately, I've been told that I really need to start with. Please start one. Just go for it. Just hit the record button. I mean, boop. I don't know why I did. Boop. Hit the record button and share. Yeah. Um you could even turn it into a online class, especially for parents like me who have homeschooling kids, because one of the biggest things that a lot of us teach our kids are like daily living. We want our kids to know how to cook and we want them to be healthy. So if you were doing a live every, you know, I don't know, every week, every 2 weeks or something like that, or you had a class or something and the kids you can, they could get their supplies and cook along with you or whatever, I would sign my daughter up. I definitely would. She would love it too. So, give it some thought. Whatever you decide, let us know so that we can tap in and support you and learn. Like I said, I'm a retired medical marijuana grower. Okay. Jay Reezy, fresh grown zucchini is not the same as in the store. They are huge. That's a fact. The zucchinis that we had were huge. They were, but do you know how cute it was? I wish I could find this picture. It was so cute because I would tell my kids, like, go outside and grab a zucchini from the garden. Like, I loved being able to say that because I knew my mom grew up that way, she's from the South. I'm from Jersey, but my mom is from North Carolina, and she used to always tell us stories. Her and my aunts, they always used to tell us stories about being able to, like, just run outside to the garden and grab this and grab that. And I had all these different herbs. Like, I had, go get me some oregano, or go get the Italian parsley. I had lemon balm growing. I would, like, all these different things. It was super dope to have them go out to the garden and grab something and come back. I'm trying to see if I could I wish I had the picture of my son holding the zucchini, but these were peppers from our garden. He had like a bunch of them in his hand. Let me see. And it was a learning experience. That's him helping with the garden. It was a big learning experience. The first go round, we did it a little bit the wrong way. Luckily, I have cousins who still farm down here, so they were able to kind of help us out with correcting it. But it was cool for my kids to be a part of it. But it's a lot to maintain, but it's worth it. And if we would have stayed in it, I know it would have got easier. Now the whole garden and closed back up. We got to redo it, which we will. But yeah, don't judge my Instagram page. We won't. Did you put your Instagram page in here? When I first moved to this neighborhood, I also make my own natural medicines. I really do need to start sharing. I'm a mom of four as well, and time is limited. Girl, bye. You a mom of four and you doing all this and you not share? Please share. Please, I'm about to get mad at you now. I was having a lot of grace for you at first. Now I have none. Girl, you got to help me out. Please share. Yes. Yeah, don't hold back. It's fun until the bugs start feeding off your stuff. My tomatoes were violated. Yeah. Oh, see, we grew tomatoes and we didn't even eat tomatoes, but we just grew them anyway. But you are right, and that was another thing that was very hard for us to keep going. But you know what was good? It's called what's it called? Something almanac. My cousin told me about it. It's called something almanac. The old farmer's almanac. Old farmer's almanac. They have all of anything that you could want to know about gardening. They have on their website. In fact, they have a garden plot thing. Like, I plotted out my garden using their tool. They tell you how many, like, if you're located in this region or in this state, they'll tell you what you should plant, what you shouldn't plant based off of, where you're located, the season. If you want to plant watermelons, they'll tell you that you need to start doing it at this point in time. I forget what it's called, where you take the seeds and the seedlings turn it into a seedling. Or if you're going to buy seedlings, they'll tell you the process. They'll tell you how many of whatever fruit or vegetable or herb to plant in a row, how far apart to have it. They'll tell you which which vegetables or fruits should or should not be near one another. So much stuff. It's like mind blowing how much information that site has. So that was helpful for me when critters came, and when we were struggling with um some of our vegetables that we were planting, it also helped me to understand like certain things grow crazy. Like zucchinis, they grow for real. They grow fast and wild. So I learned a lot. Put them kids to work. I sure did. Sure did. And they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. Praying mantis babies work good too. Praying mantis babies? I don't know about that. Hey, One Tribe. I will be 56 years old this year, and I have been gardening since I was about 8 years old. Okay. Didn't have a choice. My father didn't feel like digging. He had three boys do it for him. If he had three boys do it for, I love that. I love that. Yep, the information is definitely out there. Gardening is a whole job. I ignored all those rules, grew what I wanted, and created a headache for myself, but it was a fantastical delight when I did get to eat the fruits of my labor. Isn't that a fact? Like, there is something to be said when you literally eat what you have grown. That you can't unsee that. You can't undo that. You can't unsee that. So I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Ladybugs and praying mantis babies are the best pesticides you can get without using chemicals. Okay, I knew ladybugs were good, but I did not know about praying mantis babies. I didn't know about that. Dim light, fresh green beans to our groove minds for the first time. Love them now. Oh, fresh green beans. Oh, okay. Y'all make me want to go dig up this garden. All right, well let me get to the last part of this because I told y'all I do have to go get my husband some soup and I don't want the place to close on me. So, let me just get a little personal with y'all real quick. So, I really needed to dig into what's going on with myself because I'm at the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I've said this, I think I said this to y'all in another video, but that's been a that's been a real hard pill to swallow. And I'm constantly like battling my mindset. I'm constantly going from I could do this, I could figure this out, I could make this work, I could this, I could that to no, you can't. You ain't never been like, no, you can't. Look at the scale, look at this, look at that. Like constant conflicting self-talk. And I was watching, I was watching, I gotta remember people's freaking names. It's the girl who came up with the song, Jesus. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It kind of does matter, but it doesn't matter. I gotta look it up, y'all. I feel bad when I don't remember people's names who've had an impact. So just bear with me. Just bear with me for 2 seconds because I can pull it up. Sheena Taylor. Sheena Taylor, she did the song like I Denounce You Satan or something like that. Anyway, she was doing a live, and long story short, she was just reiterating the fact that you needed to go to the word on a regular basis. I mean, it wasn't rocket science, but it hit how it needed to hit that day. Cause somebody came in the chat and was like, I've been saved since 1993. Like I'm good. And she's like, yeah, but even you got to get your car needs an oil change, like you still have to maintain your vehicle, your being. And you do that by staying consistent or whatever with the word and all of that. And, so yet again, I'm sitting down and I'm really trying to figure out like how am I going to attack this, because I was already in this kind of a headspace before I started traveling and getting thrown off, and now the headspace is even worse because the flow that I had going, I let it get interrupted. So now it's like I have to fight through my mindset to get back to where I was, and I'm like, but how much have I incorporated God every day, like his word every single day for this purpose. And I think that's also why this topic came to me like this, because to be going to God and asking him to help me with my weight is fine, right? We can go to him for anything. But it also still kind of felt like I should be able to handle this. But then when I said, like, I'm fighting for a life worth living, I'm fighting for a life worth living for God, I'm fighting for a life worth living out the purpose he has on me, I'm fighting, like, it started to make it be way more significant. And so now it feels like, and again, this is not God putting this on, this is me putting it on. Like, I feel like I can really go here and I can really find the how. I can really find the how, knowing that it's a life worth fighting for, as opposed to like, how do I have the strength to lose weight? You know what I'm saying? That's just a part of the whole. In fact, one of the things that Sheena had said, she's like, you know, what are the things that, I'm kind of going all over the place, sorry, I'm trying. One of the things, but this is important, one of the things that she said was, what do you bring to God that you don't really leave on the altar, like that you don't really leave, you still worry about? And she's like, put it in the chat. So people are putting stuff in the chat, and she's like, all of these things that you all are naming, at the end of the day, this boils down to obedience of his word. And that hit me too, because again, it's like, if you focus on obedience of his word, then you will be in his word every single day. So I say all of that to say that today for me was kind of like, again, the first day of the rest of my life. What am I going to wake up and do towards living, fighting for a life worth living? And one of the things was, I need to go to God. I have to go to him. And again, I was going to come up with all these different excuses, like, which journal should I use? Which this, which that? I got to go. I was literally going to go buy a journal this morning so I could have a new journal to be writing in, because I didn't want to go back to any of my old journals. And then finally I said, you know what, Enrique, I need you to print me a page. Not print me a page. I need you to create a page for me. Create a page for me. So I have something called House of Faith. I told you I created all these different houses. It's called House of Faith. That's one of my houses, and that deals obviously with my prayer life, my walk with God, all of that stuff. And so I told him, I said, I want something that said, like, I dug into the Bible and I found something. And I want you to make it so I could write whatever the scripture is. And so that's that. And I said, I want the date. And then I said, I need a place to reflect. So until I can make my own journal or go find one, I just printed out a bunch of pages, and I did it like that. So today I filled this out. And what I did was, I wanted to have a scripture, or scriptures rather. I was just looking for something I wanted to be filled. I was asking, I'm like, I need to find a scripture. Hey, no shackles. I wanted to find a scriptures that can help me to feel filled, and like, and when I say filled, almost like filled from the inside out, as if the inside is where the armor is. Because I know we put armor on the outside, but I felt exposed inside. So I needed armor for inside. And again, I asked Enrique to direct me to some scriptures. This is why I tell people, like, I know how to use chat GPT with my Bible. He will never replace my Bible, God, none of that. I need you to just direct me to some places, right? So one of the scriptures that he told me to check out was Ephesians 3 verses 14 through 21. And this is what I'll call the faith anchor. So Ephesians, let's see if I can get up here with y'all. Ephesians 3 verses 14 through 21. It says, "For this reason, I bow my knees." Now this is Paul talking. Yeah, this is Paul. Yeah, this is Paul. Okay, sorry. So it says, "For this reason, I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth derives its name, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in the inner man, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, and that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ, which surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled up to all the fullness of God. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond all that we ask or think, according to the power that works within us. To him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus to all generations, forever and ever. Amen. And so when I read this, I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing. When I read this, at first I cried. And I'll just share with y'all what I wrote down here, which it says, "Reading Paul's words hit my heart so potently. I couldn't even think of a better word, but it brought me to tears. His words were so heartfelt and undoubtedly faithful, full of conviction. Like his prayer to the people about God was so convicted. I was in awe of it. Anyway, I was quickly filled with God's presence in a true sense of gratitude for his promise and his word. I was looking for a verse or verses that would help me to be filled with God, and this was perfect. This section makes me know that I am okay. I will be fine. I am covered. I am strengthened with the power through his spirit. So for me, grounding myself in stuff like this each day, this is what I am going to commit to myself and to God each day, because it is necessary for me, for my fight, my life worth, my fight for a life worth living is going to require me to get my oil changed every day by God, to help me to have the strength to keep going, to be able to accomplish these things. And so I would be remiss if I did not share that with you all, because that's the space that I'm in, and maybe that could help somebody else during their fight for whatever the life worth living is that you are fighting for. So with that, I wanted to close out. Y'all know I close out with these questions, with a challenge for you. Let me come over here real quick and see what you guys are talking about real quick in the comments. Let's see real quick. Even heavier when you're pregnant. Doubt it. You got to cast it down out of your mind, Carrie. The mind is a battlefield. It's true. It's true. And I didn't want to say anything because I felt like I keep coming back and forth, but that's how it's happening. But that's why I need to stay in this every single day. Renewing your mind with the word of God daily. See, you said it, daily. Renewing your mind with the word of God daily. I love that. Let me take a picture of that comment. I like that, Gerard. Hold on. Is that devotion? No, this is, well, you probably now know. I wrote down the scripture that resonated with me, and then I wrote down what it made me feel. That's a fact. We have to keep God in the center of all our endeavors. I don't know if you remember this. I asked you I asked you something at the beginning of the year about my wife passing. When is it a good time to let go? I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember. And we still thank you for your transparency and vulnerability sharing with us. I'm listening. With God, nothing shall be impossible. Amen. That's a fact. That's a fact. Um, and that's also why you gotta lay the worry in the like, you gotta lay the worry at his feet. You gotta give it to him so you can go focus on doing your work. I'm fighting for my life right now as well. I'm realizing things aren't as easy as I thought when God isn't the center. But when God is the center, it becomes easy for me. And that's why this hit me so hard. I was like, I'm good. He's here. But why am I not making sure that I get to feel this every day? Every day. Consistency eliminates self-doubt. Put y'all on the stage. Consistency eliminates self-doubt. I think you should take up a woman's self-defense class. I think it'll build confidence and simultaneously help you lose weight. I have thought about a self-defense class. So yeah, I've thought about that. Not for confidence in general, but for confidence in defending myself. I have found a beautiful young lady that has been helping me out a lot. And she asked me, how can I be so cheerful? I say, I wake up every day to solve a problem, no matter how big or small. I like that. Only thing I can do is keep pushing forward. My advice to you is wake up every day and keep moving. Got to. I received. Yep. Wake up every day, keep moving. Concerning the yes, it's about discipline, and that takes work. It does. It does. And for me, because my husband and I were talking about what does the word discipline and commitment mean and all of that stuff. And that's why I really like this obedience to God thing, because through through your obedience to him, to me, discipline, commitment, all of those things become like the fruit of it. If you're really serious in being obedient to God, then all of those things become a byproduct in my mind. So my focus, because it could be easy to be like, I'm focused on being disciplined. Not that you shouldn't, but that's kind of like, well, what does that really mean to you? So I'm gonna dig in with this. And lay my stuff down so I can focus on the work. I can focus on being disciplined in the work. That should be concerning weight loss. Hey, okay. Hey, OG Hot Rod. I love the new lower third on the video, by the way. Goody. Hey, Ken. I'm trying something new. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you did. So real quick, and thank y'all for again rocking with me and going. I love coming on Monday nights. Like, I feel good every time I get off of these lives, and I hope that you walk away feeling good too. So here is my final. Okay. I know I keep saying it, but here's my final. This week's challenge. Oh, shoot. All right. So this week's challenge. Name the life underneath the goal. So finish the sentence. I'm fighting for the ability to what? And the life underneath the goal. So weight loss. That might be your goal, but underneath that might mean energy, mobility, presence, health span, being able to show up for family and purpose. Your goal could be budgeting. Underneath that, the life under that could be for peace, options, stability, generosity, legacy. Your goal could be getting organized. The life under that could be you want calm, clarity, order, less stress in the home. Your goal could be prayer or scripture, increasing that. The life under that could be being rooted, guided, strengthened, and filled by God. Your goal could be consistency, doing whether it's doing content, consistency, working out, whatever. Underneath that life under that could be obedience, discipline, community, purpose, trusting yourself again. That's one of mine as well. Figure out what yours are, and then choose one habit that supports your health span this week. So again, health might not be everybody's challenge, but we all have our health span and our lifespan. So what's one habit that you can add on that supports your health span this week. Figure that out. Come back next Monday and let me know. I'm not going to take the time for y'all to name it tonight because it's 8:30 and I got to get to this place before 9. So think about it, do it, and let me know next Monday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Number 3, take one small step that serves the life you want to live. Serves the life you want to live, which means that you got to be clear on what's the life worth living for you. Take one small step that serves the life you want to live. And then 4, ask God to strengthen the inner person, not just the outer goal. Ask him to give you the inner armor that you might need, not just support for the outer goal. At the end of the day, what are you really fighting for? So, you guys, as usual, look at me trying to get my stuff together. I 100% enjoy each and every one of you. I appreciate you. Hey, Kiki, I'm not hey, Kiki, but thank you, Kiki. I love you, lies. My new Monday hotspot. I appreciate you for being here. Exercise, great exercise for the week. All right, let's do it, Junior Largy. I appreciate you all for being here. If you could do me a favor and make sure that you hit the like button if you haven't, if you feel like anybody would enjoy these Monday shows, just let them know to tune in each Monday 7 p.m. Eastern time. And in the meantime, keep in mind the challenge that I gave to you all. I'm going to be doing my own. I already told y'all what mine were. I told you what I'm going to be focusing on. And in the meanwhile, you guys make sure that you go out there and you be great. Wait, I messed up my own phrase. Go out there. Have a great one because you are great. Love you guys much. See you all next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Take it easy. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.